What's up, you guys? Zoeb here from OneGlanceTrader.com, and welcome to part 2 of my 4-part series of where I trade the zone recovery trading strategy for 10 days. Now, if you guys are new or just stumble across this video, I strongly suggest that you guys click the link in the description or in the top right corner to view the playlist to watch this 4-part series right from the beginning. And in part 1, I went through what the zone recovery system is, how it works, what the kind of ins and outs and the mechanics are, as well as my trading approach to the 10 days. Now, in this video, part 2, we're going to go through days 1 to 5, my trades and my results. So I videoed every time I placed a trade and every time the trade finished, so you guys can kind of see that I've amalgamated the 5 days into one video, and I've split them up into kind of daily sections. And one reminder of this is that the actual zone recovery trading strategy element of this overall kind of piece is managed by an EA, and it's an EA that I didn't create. It's an EA I found on the MQL5 website. I'm not affiliated with the EA in any way. I just needed an EA to kind of manage the kind of trades once I placed the trades manually. So just wanted to get that one out there. So without further ado, let's crack on with day 1. So it's Sunday night here in the UK. The markets have been open for 20 minutes and I've just placed a trade on the Euro USD. So this is the first day we're testing out the zone recovery system with my kind of ADR twist. So I just want to walk you through about why I've chosen the Euro USD, how big is my zone recovery box, and the reasoning for going, in this case, short. So you can see at the moment that I've placed the trade on the Euro USD. I've gone in for a sell, and as previously mentioned, it has now automatically put my buy stop in 10 points in this example, 10 points above my entry. So my entry is this line over here. My take profit is 10 points to the downside, and 10 points above my entry is my hedge trade to go long. So between these two lines, so now this is my zone recovery box, and we're looking for price to kind of break out 10 points. Well, to break down on either side, preferably the downside, but because this is kind of a general, I kind of really want it to kick off the recovery trades, as I mentioned previously. So just to give you a view of why I've gone with a 10-point box, and that's primarily down to the to my OGT ADR indicator, which is saying over the past 15 days, and that's what I set the ATR to, is 15, is this on average this currency pair moves 72 pips on average, and currently today it's down 14 pips, and this grading system is showing us that over the last 100 days, how much has the currency pair moved in relation to today's ADR. So what this is basically saying is that 100% of the time the currency pair has moved 20% of today's ADR. So in this case, that's what 10% is. It's what, 7, 20%, 14, 15 points that this pair's done. As you can see, it's already done 14 points by this little spike up and then come back down again. So it's already moved 14 points already, but it's now back to its kind of open to where it left itself off last Friday. So and that's why I've done the box at 10 points, is mainly for that particular reason. As you can see, as you go further down, is the percentages of this of this currency pair moving decreases over the last 100 days. So an example being, over the last 100 days, this pair has only moved greater than 72.4 pips 47% of the time. So it's still a 1 in 2 chance that it's going to do that, and I want it to do that because I needed to kind of break out of this box for me to kind of make money. So there's two things that can happen. Currently as it stands, price can go down and hit my take profit target, and then I'm done. So I've made my 10 points for the day. I'll wait until tomorrow, or price can go against me by 10 points, activating my recovery trade. And again, in this stress test demo example, we'll be going with doubling the lot size. So my lot size is 0.10, so the next trade will be at 0.20. And again, this is a demo account with 10 grand in it, so there's a lot of margin available to be able to kind of withstand it. So we'll see what happens from there. And another thing to bear in mind, that if it does activate the hedge trade, so the recovery method, then the aim of the EA is to get me out with the plus 5 points. So I want to kind of get out of this trade as quick as I can, but still maintaining some sort of profit. So that's the plan. And why I've chosen the Euro USD is because the spreads, especially on Sunday when the market opens for a new trading week, are quite wide. And I think I got in at between 2 to 2.5 points, and it's down to 1.1 or 1.2 now. That was the reason why I chose the Euro USD, because generally most brokers, the Euro USD has the most competitive pricing. But from what I can see, as you go into the trading week, some of the other currency pairs tend to have low spreads as well, between 2 and 3 points. In terms of going short, I really struggled with this pair because there's no particular direction, and I've put my OGT trend dashboard on one time frame below, one time frame above, and then the current time frame, sorry, which is the 15-minute chart which I'm on, and then two time frames above. So, from when I was looking at this chart, it is basically ranging. So the trend dashboard didn't really give me that much of an indication. So I kind of went with the logic is that the moving averages are kind of all bunched together here. So this could either be a kind of squeeze or consolidation with another push up to the upside, or it could be a push down to the downside. In either case, I don't really mind, because again, this strategy is really playing on statistics around this currency pair moving in either direction. And I hope that I'm wrong, i.e. that it does start to go long and it activates the recovery. It'd be very interesting to see how long it takes for the recovery to kind of do work its magic and get me out of this trade. So we'll monitor this trade. Again, this is the first day, and we'll go through all kind of 10 days, so two whole trading weeks, assuming that I don't blow the account. To kind of show you what I've got, and then I'll create a Google sheet so we can track everything and kind of look at everything. And if everything all goes well, then we'll look to implement this on a small live account. No way doing 0.1 size lots. It'll definitely be micro lots at kind of 10p a point, so 0.01. So I'll keep you posted. Stay tuned, and we'll go from there. So just wanted to give you guys a quick update. It's a couple of hours in, and as you can see, the EA has launched its first recovery trade in the opposite direction. So my initial trade was a sell for a 10-point take profit target, which didn't really get anywhere close to it, and has completely reversed in the opposite direction and triggered my 10-point buy stop trade, which is the first zone recovery trade at double the lot size of the initial trade. So where we stand at the moment, we have got the first initial trade, which is around 13 points against me, and we've got the new buy trade, which is just under 2 points inside my favor. So the EA has calculated a new take profit line where if it hits that take profit line at the top of my current order, then we will close out at roughly around 5 points profit. So as you can see with the OGT trend dashboard, we are now bullish across a time frame lower than my trading chart. My trading chart is also in a bullish trend, and the 2 time frames above are also in a bullish trend as well. So I feel that this will close out in profit eventually, and more than likely it's looking like it will hit the take profit target to the upside. So, you know, what will happen now is it can either hit the take profit target and then it will close out all the trades in the profit, or what it could do, it could reverse out, and then if it gets to this point over here, it will open a second zone recovery trade at 0.4 lots, hopefully looking to go for the market to continue lower and to go short. So as it stands at the moment, it's doing what it's meant to be doing. Unfortunately, I guess the wrong way. However, this is why we stress test on demo. So just letting you guys on an update on what's happening so far, and I will see you guys in the conclusion of this first trade. It's now 7:30 p.m. UK time, and I'm pleased to say that day one has been a success. As you can see, we've closed out all three trades with an aggregate profit of £11, so 11 pips, and overall, I think it's gone pretty well. We closed out all the trades at 9:30 in the morning. So for those who remember, we opened the original sell trade the night before at 11:15, which was this sell order over here. And then price quickly went against me, not in my favor, and at 1:16 in the morning, it placed a buy trade at this level here, which has now created my recovery window as distinguished by these two yellow lines. Price then nearly hit my take profit target, which would have closed out both my buy and my sell in an aggregate profit. Unfortunately though, it reversed itself and went all the way back into the recovery zone and then broke the level of my original trade, which then opened the sell trade at 8:12 inside 8:12 in the morning. And it was this kind of trade here that basically drove the market go all the way down to hit my take profit target to close out all three trades. So my original direction, as I was kind of, with my very limited analysis of this pair, was for it to go short, and it eventually did go short, just 9 hours later. So like I said, I wouldn't have traded this situation at this point. I just wanted to get into the trade as early as we possibly could, so the movement of the ADR wasn't too aggressive. And as we look back to see where we are against the ADR, so originally when I first took the trade, the ADR was slightly higher, and that's because I had my session timing wrong, and it was still using some of Friday's session, therefore gave a higher ADR. So I fixed that, and now we've got the correct ADR of 68, and today we're at 47. So that's what 60 odd percent of the ADR, and looking at the indicator, 78% of the time it hits between 50 and 60% of the ADR. And as you can see today, we're still quite a little bit away from hitting the 68 pips level. I don't think we're going to reach it. And yeah, if I was to trade this again as part of day two of this journal, I would probably look to short this pair again. So let's see what happens. I'll be back in a few hours time to go through trade number two. So again, 1 out of 1 complete. We're looking now for 9 more trading days to be in profit. And then if we are successful in this, we'll look to try to put this live and see how we get on. So I shall see you guys in a few hours. So welcome to day two. We are 20 minutes into the market open, and about 10 minutes ago I placed my second trade, which was a sell on the Aussie dollar. Now you can see here that the ADR for today is around 70 pips. It's not that much if you think about the other currency pairs, such as like the USD CAD is 115 pips. But I wanted to kind of really test this on slower moving pairs just to see if this EA can get me out of trouble in case it does go into a range. And as you can see that we've been in a range of the latter part of yesterday, so it'll be interesting to see how this carries on. So the main reason why I've gone short is because we've got all the MAs in the right direction for a downward move. So we've had the first pull down, then a retracement, and then hopefully we'll get another pull down to the downside. So that's what I'm looking at. The other reason why I've chosen the Aussie dollar is also because of the current news events. So we know that when there are news events that currency pairs do move, and I wanted to kind of do one which had some news inside the Asian session. So the Aussie dollar has this NAB business confidence event coming out at 2:30 UK time, and it's not a major impact news, otherwise it'd be red. It's more of a medium impact, but this was the only medium impact news event that was happening inside the Asian session today. And obviously we got the CPI news event in the US at 1:30. So I'm going with this pair that has a news event on both scenarios, so hopefully we'll be way out before 1:30 UK time, and I'm looking to get out of this trade way before the London Open. ADR looks price movement against the ADR looks good. We've had 20% over the last 100 days of that, so that's what, about 14 pips, move in either direction 100% of the time, and 98% 30% of the time. So I'm confident that this pair will move, starting to move in the wrong direction, but then again we don't mind that because of this kind of hedging trading strategy. So I shall see you guys in a second to let you know the outcome of this trade. So it's just under 2 hours later for when I took the trade back at 11:11 p.m. And as you can see here, just before 1 a.m. in the morning, we have closed out. So what's that, about an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes to kind of close out this trade. And I guess the good news is that the direction, my analysis at this stage seemed to be working fine, and that price did drop slightly to make my 10 points profit. So I got in at this yellow line over here, and this section here at 0.64987, which is where this arrow is where my buy stop hedge trade would have been if price went against me. But as you can see, price never really looked back and just continued going down in my favor. So I guess the good news is that I did close out day 2 in profit. I guess the bad news is, from a testing perspective, I kind of really wanted to see it kind of hit the hedge trade and see how long and how difficult it would have been for me to get out of this trade in a profit. But I'm guessing, if I ever put this live, if I could guess correct 100% of the time, then I wouldn't even need the hedge trade. So I'm glad I'm trusting my instincts here and closed out this trade. I really want to place another trade, but I'm not going to. I'm going to stick to the rules. So that's day 2 complete, and I shall see you tomorrow for day 3. Day 3, we are 30 minutes into the market open, and about 7 minutes ago you can see that I placed a trade on the New Zealand dollar, American dollar. And one thing I forgot to mention as part of day 2, I've changed my lot size back down to micro lot of 0.01, and the reason for that is if I'm successful with this 10-day challenge, and if I was to put this onto a live account, I just want to know what kind of drawdowns to kind of expect. So I know how much money I need to fund the account to kind of cover, opening 4 or 5 recovery trades if it ever gets to that. So you can see I've gone short, and the reason why I've gone short is we're now in a downtrend. The moving averages are starting to cross over, hopefully into the downside. And as you can see now, we're looking for kind of the third leg down. So we've had the first leg pull back, second leg pull back. I do like this pin bar over here, which is it's failing, not looking to break these highs, and then hopefully we'll get that pull down onto my take profit target. So that's kind of the reason why I'm looking at there. The ADR is looking pretty good. It's about 62 pips. So around to 30%, 99% of the time, 18, 19 pips. It's done 7 pips already, so I'm quite comfortable that I'll get out of this trade relatively soon. And another main reason is down to news events, which is why I picked this pair in particular. You can see that the New Zealand dollar has a lot of announcements and releases happening at around 3 a.m., so around 3.5 hours time. So I'm expecting some movement inside this pair. Again, I don't really care what direction it goes in. I just want to kind of hit my take profit target, or even if it goes back and hits my recovery trade, to start continuing to go into the upside. So I'll leave it there, and then I'll let you guys know how I get on. It's about an hour and a half later, and as you can see, exactly the same as yesterday. We have now closed out with a just under 10 pip profit, and yeah, again, kind of guessed right, you could say. Expected price to move down, which it did, and yeah. No need to use the recovery trade. I was really excited to see what would happen with the news, but I didn't even need to use it. So yeah, that is day 3 done. No recovery trade used again, and yeah, I shall see you guys in day 4. So day 4, we are 8 minutes into the market open, and just as the market opened, well, 46 seconds into the market open, I placed a long trade on the Aussie dollar. It was a long trade, and I've actually traded in the opposite direction that I would normally trade. So I would actually have placed a sell trade here. However, over the last 2 days, I've managed to trade in the right direction. And if I was to follow my kind of strategy just by using this kind of moving average kind of system, I do believe that price is going to drop. However, again, hopefully I am right and price does drop, because what I want it to do is I want it to kind of open a recovery trade, so I can really stress test the system, because over the last 2 days I've not had to open any recovery trades, and that's great if I was trading a live account, but because this is demo, I want to kind of put the system to the test, and see how quickly and how long it can take me to get out of trouble with the profit using the recovery system. So we'll see what happens. No, my luck, I'll probably just go straight up and go hit the take profit, which is fine. It is what it is. But hopefully it does continue to fall, and we can launch a recovery trade. We've got these kind of longer wicks here with a few pin bars and things like that. So hopefully this is providing some sort of resistance area with this first line of MAs. Price has to get through all of this to kind of hit that take profit target. So really, I'm really hoping price will fall, even though I've gone long in this trade. So the reason why for the Aussie dollar, we've got some important news releases, employment changes. So I do feel that this pair is going to move in one direction. Again, I'm not fussed on what these numbers mean and what that means, good or bad, for the currency. Or for the economy rather. For me, it's all about getting movement and volatility in the market. So I'm quite comfortable that this pair will move at some point in the early hours of the UK time. So again, looking at the ADR, we are at 71 pips. And again, 98%, 30% of the time. So that's what 21 pips. So I'm looking for a 10 pip take profit target on the long side, or my box window is 10 pips. So hopefully, I'm quite confident again that that this pair will move. So let's hope for the best. Let's hope this pair continues to go short, even though I've gone long, and I shall see you guys in a few seconds. Well, I guess it was a good thing that I traded in the opposite direction, because price has done exactly what I expected it to do and to drop. So I obviously placed a buy order in the intention and the hope that it would launch a recovery trade. So it's now done that. As you can see here, it's doubled the lot size. Now placed a sell order. So it's now created a new kind of take profit target for me at this level over here. So it's doing exactly what I wanted to do. So now we are inside of the recovery system in the hands of the EA to do what it needs to do to get me out of this trade. So let's see what happens. So it's around 2:45 a.m. UK time, and as you can see, we've just had the news event surrounding the unemployment report in Australia, and as you can see, it created the volatility in the market that this trading system needed to close out all the open trades. And this has been the example I've been looking for because it opened a number of recovery trades inside its window. So the pair was really stuck in this kind of 10-15 pip range until leading up to the news event. And just counting how many recovery trades it opened: one, two, three, four, five recovery trades were open, and obviously this buy stop didn't get triggered up here because price never got back there. So five recovery trades were open, and this had negative impact on the Australian dollar. And I probably should have read the kind of what the analysts were saying, and it did coincide with what I expected was going to happen, that the pair was going to fall. So, overall, this was the kind of example I wanted to stress test, and shows that the volatility in the market is needed to kind of get me out of trouble. Whether it went to the upside or the downside, it was irrelevant. I just needed it to break out of this range, which it did. So I'm quite comfortable with that. And as you can see, my buy trades of £40, £10, and £2.51 has negated my loss of £8.51 and £34.03. So overall, really happy with what's happened. It's went as expected, and I should see you guys on day 5. So we're half an hour into the market open on day 5, and as you can see, around 15 minutes ago I placed a sell on the Euro USD. Now the reason why I've gone for the Euro USD is primarily around that we've got two high alert or high impact news events coming out, not only for the euro but also for the US dollar as well. So that's why I've gone for the Euro USD. And the reason why I've gone short is because I've spotted bearish hidden divergence on the 15-minute chart. And for those who don't know what bearish hidden divergence is, I've got videos on that, so you guys can check out my channel. But that's when price is making lower highs and the oscillator is making higher highs, and you can see that we're making higher highs not only on the stochastics but also on the MACD. So in terms of from a confluence perspective, we've got two oscillators pointing to hidden divergence. So again, it's not guaranteed to happen. This currency pair can continue to go up, but I feel that I'm quite confident that the main direction of this trend is down, as well as you can see that we've been in the downtrend now since the 13th of May, which was yesterday. So when we're looking at this ADR, we can see that we've done 70 pips on average over the last 15 days, of which today it's not really done a lot. It's only moved 3 pips, but you can see 20% of the time over the last 100 to 200 days, I can't remember what I've set on the settings, it's comfortably hit 21 pips, which is 20%. Which is 14 pips, which is 20%, and 95% of the time it has done 30%, which is 21 pips. So again, it's not the biggest mover that we've done this week, but I think there's enough in there, plus with the news events happening, to kind of comfortably get me out of this trade. So let's see how we get on. We've got no news events in the early hours, so I could be in this trade for a little while longer than 3 a.m. or a few hours that will happen yesterday, but we'll see how we get on, and I shall see you guys shortly. 7:30 in the evening here in the UK, and I just wanted to give the final update on the first 5 days of this challenge. So as you can see, my terminal here, we have closed out of the Euro USD. It did not open any recovery trades. However, we were in this trade for quite a while. We're in this trade for nearly 9 hours, and as you can see that this pair was just ranging in this kind of 5 pip window, and then inside the morning it kind of broke out, and this was kind of when the news in Germany broke out, around this window over here, and then we had the US news in the afternoon, which kind of gave it the volatility it needed. So, from my perspective, I would have got out this trade at some point. I would have got out during this move. But again, there was no recovery trade needed. It kind of went in. I was expecting it to go a bit further down with the, the hidden bullish, bearish divergence. Sorry, but from my perspective, I'm all right as long as I got out of the trade. That's all that matters. It's not going to hit its ADR target by the end of the day because there's only a few hours left of the market. So overall, I'm quite happy with how the first 5 days went down. And what I've done is I've just put together a quick summary of the 5 days in terms of what pairs I traded, what direction I went in, was their news event, my take profits and recovery windows, how many recovery trades were open, and whether we're still open on these trades. So, like I said, we closed out on all five. Day 5 was probably the best day in terms of stress testing the system. This 5 would have actually been a 0 for, if you guys remember that. I went the opposite way. I probably would have gone on purpose, hoping a recovery trade did open, and it did, and it opened 5 of them. So, it was good that we got that in there. How am I going to approach the next 5 days? I think I'm going to be a bit more daring, just kind of guess and make it up, really, just so we can see how this system reacts and hopefully gets into more troubles. I kind of want to see more 4-5 recovery trades, more of these type of days next week, just to really see how we get on. And, would I trade this system live? Definitely wouldn't risk my capital doing it, but I think if I get out of this in the next 5 days, if you guys want to see me kind of trade this on a live account, then just please put a comment in the box, and we'll see what we can do. So if I get enough likes and comments asking me to trade this system live, I will do so. So let me know what you guys' thoughts are. I'm going to have a think on the weekend on how I'm going to approach day 6 to 10, and I shall see you guys when the markets open on Sunday. So have a great weekend.